All right. So were we the only ones that were looking at Justin with a side eye? All right. So we're going to talk about the Married at First Sight reunion. My name's Kevin.
I'm Tarsha.
And this is, of course, Conversations with the Crawleys, where we have conversations about faith, family relationships, and we do recaps, reviews, and commentaries on our favorite shows. As I mentioned, this was all about that first part of the reunion special of season 15, Married at First Sight. So you already know about what to do by now. Hit that subscribe, hit the like, request notifications,
And share.
and we will see you in the comments. Consider becoming a member and checking out the merch store. All right. So this season's over as far as
The season is over.
the couples. But reunion special always, of course, brings out a lot more information. So Kevin, who's been hosting for last few seasons or whatever, at least, kind of just greets everybody and, hey, what'd you learn? What did you find out about yourself? A lot of them were like, hey, I took it as a learning experience. I didn't know kind of how I was. Kristen says that she over enunciates her words. Alexis like, I didn't enunciate anything. I was messing up words left and right. Justin learned, I guess, that he cries a lot. If he's just not learning that,
He's still got a lot to learn.
he got a lot to learn. So then we start to get into really just getting into each couple, right? And we'll just kind of, I don't know if it's in order, but we'll just, Stasha and Nate, they were, as Kevin called them, the poster children for sex.
He was just kind of asking them, did they ask you or did this was this natural for you guys?
Y'all just free like that?
And they were pretty much just like, you know what? Our expression of how we were feeling and connecting was genuine.
Mm-hmm.
And they were open and free spirit about, how they like to love.
Right.
And he was like, well, okay, because they brought up every scene there was. Even it seemed like, again, which everyone said they watched the episodes, were still blushing.
Right.
After their little clips of water reservation. I need to pronunciate.
Mm-hmm.
But they were just kind of laughing and having a good time, with it all together.
Yeah. Yeah. He also talked about, as far as the vibrating panties episode, that it broke on him. So
Sure it did.
Just
Sure.
making sure she taken care of. But he said it broke and it was going, she's like 15, 20 minutes. She was like, I can't take no more.
That's a long time.
That is a long time.
That's a long time. When she was saying stuff was swollen, yeah, I believe it.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll leave that alone. All right. Now, there was, of course, the beef between him and Justin, which we got to talk about.
Well, because at some point, right at the very beginning,
Mm-hmm.
I think Kevin was asking, was everyone still friends?
That's right. Yes.
He's like, is everyone still friends? Y'all miss each other. And everybody's like, it's so good to see everybody. And then Nate, and him being the realist, the transparentist, he said
transparentist.
I know, I made up a word.
Hey.
Justin blocked us. And I need to know now, why you blocking everybody, bro? Why you blocking us?
And
what did we do that you blocked? Oh,
everybody, not just one or two people.
all of us.
Because it would be understandable if there's somebody that you don't get along with on the cast, you might block a few people, a couple people. But everybody, you blocking your boy Ben.
And you got his relationship messed up. So what did he do?
What's the deal there? So then,
so
go ahead.
He was like, Kevin was like, so yeah, just why? Everybody? Well, I blocked you, Nate, because, you're fake.
And Nate's like, how am I fake?
Give me some examples.
He's like, you just fake. No.
Nah, bro. Mm-mm. You know how I operate. I come in truth.
Give me some concrete examples of where I'm fake. So Justin's like, well, you made a pass at me.
He said, excuse me?
That's right. You made a pass at me.
How?
You told me I looked good and my skin was good and my teeth looked good. You did it 2 days in a row. And that's just weird to me.
And they was like, just because I'm comfortable in complimenting men and who I am in my sexuality, that's making a pass at you? Are we being serious right now? And then he was making some point was saying that, you know, you told me that you're not into being there for people emotionally. But then when something was going on with Ben, you know, you
jumped into Morgan. You jumped on Morgan because of what was happening to Ben.
Right.
But when I needed you for what I was going through with Amber or Alexis, basically, he was saying you weren't there.
And he was like, he said, I'm the type of person, I'm not going to stay in your business. But when you need me and you ask for me, that's when I come. Because that's weird for me. To be all up in your relationship when I need to be focusing on my wife.
And he said, I wasn't trying to be your therapist.
He said that. He said,
I wasn't trying to be your therapist.
He's like, I ain't trying to play a role that I'm not getting paid for.
So, now, I'll say this.
So he said, well, that's why I blocked you.
Yeah.
Okay, but then why you block? So they started
So he goes, now, look, getting back to Justin's statement about Nate. If I don't know you, right? If we're just meeting, I'm just saying, if a man 2 days in a row is like, man, your complexion is really good, your teeth are really sparkly, I may not say he's making a pass, but I'm gonna question why you feel the need to twice give me the same compliment day in and day out, and I don't know you.
I think I believe it has to be more in the context of what they're talking about.
True, I agree.
Because if Justin is the type of person that needs to always be pumped up because he's always negative.
Yeah.
And he's always in his head. I would feel that Nate is the type of person who wants to be motivating and to be supportive. So I would need to know where in the conversation
I agree.
That came up.
There has to be more context.
There has to be more context. Because if out of the blue, you keep talking about, man, God, if I'm talking about cars and then all of a sudden you be like, man, your eyes are so beautiful. That would be weird. That's weird for anyone.
That's weird.
But
That's suspicious.
But I don't believe Nate was coming like that.
But again, we don't know the context.
We don't.
What we have is what Nate says and how Justin received it.
But when you even Kevin said this. Okay, you're throwing this out here like that. Mm-hmm. When Nate is saying like that's not the case.
Right.
And no one has seen Nate in that light throughout the course of this.
Right.
Now, Justin, he a little emotional. I don't know. Maybe he was thinking things maybe he shouldn't have been thinking. So I'm just saying.
Yeah, because we'll get into Justin and his interactions with Alexis, because there were some things there I was like.
But they started to like. He's like, I can stand up and beat you, but I don't fit. I just.
Yeah. Again, I found it comical. Justin, I mean, because Justin got up. He's like, I will swing. I got these hands. Nate's like, I will fold you like some dirty laundry. And I believe Nate more than I believe Justin.
I believe Nate more. I believe the person that's more quiet and less expressive is the most explosive one. That's my opinion.
Ask me how I know. Y'all see me on here, but am I the quiet one?
Oh, I thought you were talking about me.
No.
Yeah, you are the quiet one. But yeah, you tried to put a hole in the wall one time. That's
not at her. It was not at her. It was not. It had nothing to do with her. It was a day before our wedding. The tux place it messed up, and I was angry about that. Don't be thinking that I'm putting holes in the walls and around this house.
It was a long time ago, but still, for someone who's quiet, I'm just giving the example.
Yes.
For someone who's quiet,
those are the ones you need to watch out for.
And don't say much, and then you're gonna try to put a hole through a wall. Especially it ain't my hole. It's not my wall. So I was like, we're gonna have to shut that down.
That's what deposits are for.
Whose deposit?
Your deposit.
Not my deposit.
You and your friends, your roommates.
Yeah. It's not going down like that. I had to check it. I was like, is this a red flag before I get married? Because we ain't doing this.
But back to Nate. My money would have been on Nate.
My money would have been on Nate.
Nate was like, look, don't do this.
Don't
you
do
don't want to
this.
do this.
Because I'll talk you and make you cry.
Because let's just say this. Justin talks an awful lot, but he has yet to back up a lot of things he says.
True that.
Ask Alexis.
Shut up.
All right, so
shots fired.
ask Alexis. All right, so finishing up Stasha and Nate. They are still together, but they're living separately. Or they're kind of moving back and forth.
Yeah, they're going back and forth.
Right.
I was trying to decide on the timeline because he said his lease is not up for 8 months. And it's been 5 months from when the show happened.
It could have been a 2-3 year lease.
It's possible.
In some places, you sign a long lease because you
don't
can
want
lock
to
it
pay.
in. And you can lock it in.
Rent. That's true.
Right.
So she said she was fine with that. And she's taking, she want him to, she's being patient with him.
Yes.
And he's trying to, get used to the idea, right? Because he was the one that's like, am I going to be homeless if you don't want me no more? And I get that, especially if you're coming from a place of abandonment.
Yes.
And you want to make sure that their connection is strong emotionally. Because now they need to see, this is reality. There's no TV. So they want to see where they are as far as after the show.
Right.
And I hope that he did get a therapist while they're working through their own thing. He's working through his and what he's learned about himself, concerning relationships and trusting people.
He says that she is everything that he asked for.
Yeah.
He's still falling for her. So they're in a very good place.
It sounds like they're in a really good place.
Right. He says he still does small things for her, but he doesn't get credit. She's like, well, you cook one day and you want credit for all of that. So still working through just normal marriage stuff, normal marital stuff.
I would feel like those are normal conversations that men and women have.
Yes.
And so when she's coming from a place of like, I have to find value in everything that you do, then we measure it too much.
Right.
So I think they'll get there, though.
I think so, too. So they're good. Then let's move to Alexis and Justin.
Yeah, let's just go ahead and get them over.
Touch base on them. Justin unfollowed everybody on social media. He called Nate fake. Basically.
Then he was saying that.
Now, Alexis did, when they were getting Justin off stage, Alexis did go and try and help calm him down. So you can see that there's still some concern there, right? It's not like she's just like she's done with him.
I think she's just overall a good person. And I don't think she wants him to come out in that light or to get beat up. Like, who wants, like I'm not going to watch you get beat up on national TV. We ain't doing
Facts.
that. We don't want no assault charges and all this other stuff. And, Justin kind of like, he pokes at everyone. Like he said he was supposed to go on hiking with Morgan and Kristen. Yeah.
Or Lindy, one of the two.
No, it was Morgan and Kristen.
Yeah.
Yeah, because she's like, well, why do you unfollow me? She's like, well, we were all supposed to go on a hike and then you went without me. And they were like,
bruh.
I was like,
bruh.
So she's like, you're saying we're fake? We did. So I don't know what's going on, but I think we're seeing that Justin needs more counseling than what we thought he needed.
Yes.
And we talked about him being a little bit over emotional. Granted, there is nothing wrong with men showing emotion. There's nothing wrong with men crying to release emotion. But what we're seeing here with him and the way he was expressing love,
it's a bit much.
It seemed like there's something missing with his emotional intelligence.
Yeah.
That he needs something. He needs some assistance.
Nate was like, "You a crybaby." I mean, he went third grade on him. You a crybaby.
Because he said, Nate says, I do cry.
Yeah.
So you see.
See, here's the thing. You can be in touch with your emotions and be in control of your emotions. Justin is controlled by his emotions. Justin is overly emotional, where there are other things that I think need to be dealt with.
He has no filter with his emotions.
The balance, right? Yeah, that's why he's controlled by them. Yeah.
Yeah, because I feel like there is a filter of your emotion. Because you have to filter, like, is this me? Or am I perceiving something other than what's truly reality? And when am I going to respond out of reality or just this overwhelming feeling,
Is it
my
just
perception?
possible that Morgan and Kristen may not have felt comfortable going on a hike with a guy who was married to, who really was their friend in this process? Is it possible that that's the case, and maybe you were just trying to attach yourself to an event or an activity that really you weren't invited to, and they did not know how to tell you? Is it possible? Now, you could say, yes, they were fake for doing that or what have you, but if your whole world is shattered because you didn't go hiking with them?
Or maybe you missed the cues, and when you were supposed to leave and you didn't make it, but you approach people to find out and communicate with them like, hey, what happened? I thought we were supposed to go this time. And then for them to express or to say why something didn't occur.
Right.
Then you just saying, well, I'm just going to block you.
Yeah.
And the understanding was like he blocked them and then he unblocked them. And then he blocked them again.
Yeah. That's a whole other issue there too.
So again, we're talking about beyond what would be more a common event to something that makes it.
Because if I'm done with you, I'm done with you. Right? Because here's the thing. This whole thing of I get upset when people unfollow me on social media. First of all, I
personally don't pay attention.
We appreciate every one of our subscribers. I appreciate all of my followers on the various places that I'm on, all the people I'm connected to. But I don't sit there and watch my count and see who unfollowed me or who unsubscribed or who whatever, because it's great to have that, but it's not
life changing.
Right, that's the word.
You're not changing my life, nor are you hurting me by telling me personally you're gonna unsubscribe. I'm just saying it's not hurting my life.
Especially when it's nothing that we've done other than share our opinion.
Correct.
Because be who we are.
This is our opinion. We are watching as fans.
Yes.
And so if everyone has a different opinion, we love for you to put it in the comments. That's perfect. But anywho.
Back to Justin and Alexis.
Right. As we were saying, so they started talking about they actually consummated their marriage on their honeymoon.
Yeah.
And for whatever reason.
Justin didn't want that shared.
Didn't want it shared. Well, you don't want to talk about lovey-dovey.
And she says that he asked her not to say anything, and she felt that it was manipulative, which it is.
Well, the question is why. I think it was like why you wouldn't share, because then later on, that's when she said it felt manipulative because something didn't come out or something within that.
And because it was like, then it was like, he was like, well, you lied with me. And she was like, I protected you because you didn't want that shared. So it's not like I conspired with you and said, yes, we're going to deceive everybody. You asked, I honored that. So there's a difference. There's a nuance there.
There is a nuance there.
Now, as far as the sex on the honeymoon.
She still wasn't. Nice.
She's like, we tried. He's like, we did. She's like.
He said, I penetrated.
She was like, He's like, and we both orgasmed. She was like, He's like, well, you sounded, So again, Justin talks a whole big great game.
And people need to get out this notion just because you tall, everything else comes tall with you. That's not always the case.
Yeah. So.
Moving on.
So yeah, Alexis does not seem like she is very impressed or happy. She appreciates the attempt, the effort, A for effort. But an F- for execution, I guess. They're not together, of course.
Yeah, they do share. They're not together.
But he says he broke it off, and she's like, "Wait, what? Wait, are we in the same universe? Wait, what?"
And he keeps mentioning like, "Well, you came over or something, you know." You were still trying. And she's like, what?
She's like, wait, when? I came drunk when? To who? Talk about who?
To what?
Where? Where who? Asking all these questions.
Whoo, Jesus.
So yeah.
You know what? It's starting to explain a whole lot of what Alexis had to handle.
Yes.
And I don't feel he was ready to take on being married. I think there's some things he definitely need to work on that he didn't see.
Yes.
And it's probably a reason why his past relationships didn't work out.
Because he continues to call her, says that she's gaslighting him, and calls her a compulsive liar.
Yeah.
I'm just going to say, again, and I know some of you all, because even we looked at Alexis sometimes a little strange, right? Mm-hmm. Alexis, there are flags there that tell me Alexis tried to make the most out of a bad situation in some respects. Mm-hmm. Not saying that she's perfect, saying that he's perfect.
There's no such thing as a perfect person.
Right. And there's no such thing as the perfect relationship, right? Mm-hmm. There were things, though, in my opinion, that, now finding out that they did have sex, but he wanted her to keep that secret. Mm-hmm. Some of these other things, and even just the statement that he made about Nate, tells me that there are times where he will make big statements, but there's no fact behind them.
Right. It's blown
because
out of
everybody else, you take your clues, because we're not there for the filming. We're not there. We're seeing edited, right?
Right.
But the people that are there, that are spending these 8-10 weeks with you, connected with you, filming with you, and they're all looking at what you said about Nate and what you're saying about things even with Alexis, and they're like, that don't make sense. That's a low blow you're bringing out from nowhere. That's very telling. Mm-hmm. So that was it for them. There's more, of course, in the next
in part two
of the reunion.
Yep.
Let's do Morgan and Ben, because they're real easy. They are not together.
No, we knew that because they divorced earlier in the process. He reached out to her like a month after the filming and really wanted to meet with her, and again express his apology for how things went on his end,
right,
and what he said, and then he turned around and did something different. What we did not hear is also that she apologized for how she acted the way he acted. Because you can't control what people do,
right, but
you can control how you respond. And I feel like they equally had a part to play in this. And even from Kevin, I didn't get, well, why did you have to respond? So I believe
no one held her accountable the way they're holding Ben accountable.
No.
Now, my hope is, and maybe we'll see it in the second part when the experts come in, right? But no one held Morgan accountable for the way that she responded, the way she demanded things. And even if we can just be honest, the fact that she used deception as well when she told that she had her degree. It's a minor thing, but the question is why, just like we're curious as to why Justin wanted to withhold that they had sex. Why is it so important for people to believe that she had her degree when she's a credit or 2 credits short? It's a minor thing. No one really is going to be taken off by it. But why do you feel the need to be deceptive about that?
Yeah, because it didn't really make sense. So she started the fire. Please. She started it by making that statement. Now, did he carry it and then in his own insecurities and things in his life, he inflamed the fires? He blew on the fire. And it started to grow. Yep. Right. He fanned the flame.
She's the one that lit the match, put it to the twigs, and started the fire.
Now, if he's like, oh, okay, and didn't care nothing about it and didn't say anything else, we could have been having a different conversation. Maybe it would have came up a different way. Their issues may have came up in a different way. But I just don't feel her response was just so over the top that I think it just made it more ridiculous.
Because the issue that we were expecting from them, we never even got a chance to... That never became an issue.
Right, about him being a minimalist.
Right, his frugalness to be the issue.
No.
We didn't even get there.
Not at all. Because he ended up spending a lot of money sitting on somebody's couch explaining why he was trapped with this lady for 3 weeks who was just what do you call it? Belittling.
Yeah, she belittled him. Yeah.
It was just bludgeoned. It was just bah, 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 bah.
So they're friends, but the romance is done.
Which I think they both agree that's not necessary right now. He's traveling. He's trying to get himself ready for marriage because he realized that he still have a lot of childhood trauma.
And she's moved someplace else, if I remember correctly.
Did she move? I don't think she mentioned move. She says that she travels a lot.
Oh, she travels a lot. Okay.
Yeah, for her job.
Yeah, that's right.
Or whatever. So, and she's like starting casually dating. So, but don't mess up just one time.
Because she can't forgive you.
Because the betrayal will be so great. She'll move on from you, so. Yeah.
And you'll dodge that bullet. All right. Lindy and Miguel. Mm-hmm. They are still together.
They are still together. So far, they seem the most relaxed and jumping into marriage.
She playing Dungeons and Dragons with them.
I can see her doing that. Because again, in a sense, she does have a free spirit. She's very open, right? As an individual of learning new things. Yeah. And so I think intellectually, boy. Okay, I'm gonna wake up. That they match. Mm-hmm. And so then it's just the little small things that they have to work through. And that's called just living with someone else and not being single anymore. So I think they're in a really great space. Mm-hmm. It is the month of November, so healthcare renewals are typical for all companies
so
right now.
Sure he
so I think he's putting in one, renewing with the wife, rescribe it with the wife. So she's feeling very happy.
She probably sitting there with the...
She's like, I'm going to the gynecologist. I'm going to see the dermatologist. I'm going to get a therapist.
She's sitting there with the benefits pamphlets like,
I'm going to get my primary care physician.
Doctors! Like a kid at Christmas.
I'm just lining everybody up.
They do talk about the couples retreat. Mm-hmm. And one thing he does mention, which I can identify with. Not fully, but I can identify. He's like, for him, he's an introvert, so he needs time to recharge. Mm-hmm. And he did not feel like he was getting that. So that caused some of his things as far as his lashing out. Here's the thing. I'm going to give you a clue. If you are dealing with an introvert, if you're dealing with somebody that is not an extrovert, they are kind of withdrawn. When they are in large settings and with a lot of people, they do need time to go into what I call a cave. There are times where don't bother me, don't ask me, am I right?
I guess.
She knows by now. Well, we're both kind of introverts.
We are both introverts.
So there are times where we would just
need... I'm still a little more outgoing than you.
You are. But there are times where I just need to, don't bother me, don't talk to me, don't touch me. I'm okay. I just need to recharge my batteries. So that's what he was saying he needed. Now, did he take his to an extreme that I don't think I've ever taken mine to? Absolutely. You know what? You're putting on for all these folks. You can do that if you want to. Don't make me punch a wall. Anyway.
Very passive aggressive. Let's just put it that way.
I can be petty too.
Same difference.
Yep. As you said on my podcast, my middle name is Petty. I can be. But yeah, they are moving forward. He's learning not to take things so personally. They have had, as according to her, they've had that moment where she got to her 10, basically. Mm-hmm. She said that they did have that moment. He was like, okay, yeah, he keeps checking in. Is this it? Is this number 10? Is this? And she has hyphenated her name. Mm-hmm. So,
which I mean is an easy compromise. Yes. I can't see why she wouldn't hyphenate her name.
Yeah, that's.
So. I think it was just, again, she was saying that she wasn't. She
was holding it hostage with that health insurance. That's what she was doing.
Well, and she wasn't sure. Was he going to stay in the marriage? So it was more like he left it alone, and then she surprised him by showing the Social Security card that came in the mail. So.
Yeah.
Surprise! Yep. Happy birthday!
Okay.
Hyphenated my name.
And then Kristen and Mitch. Mm-hmm. So they are amicable at this time. There is, of course, no romance.
No, because he closed the door. She tried to leave the door open. I'm gonna leave the door.
He was like, nope.
Like, shut it.
Turn off the lights.
I'm gonna sneak out.
He was like, look, close the door. I ain't coming in.
Oh my goodness. He was like, well, I'm like, is he really worth leaving the door ajar?
Is he worth knowing your address?
He said, knowing your address.
There's one thing to leave the door open. There's another thing to even let them know where you stay.
Where you live. It's like, no, we're going to meet at a mutual place.
Right, we're going to meet at the coffee shop. 5 miles from my house.
Right.
That way you can't even triangulate me.
Don't put me in a 30-mile radius of finding me.
Mm-mm.
Oh, my God.
Because I don't want you driving in that neighborhood trying to find me, and all of a sudden you see me coming out my house. No. That's not happening.
Oh, my God. So they kind of talk about, these feelings of her trying to find her person and him saying that even in the midst of them being at the couples retreat, I still have my doubts. I'm like, what are you looking for? I know chicks come in all shapes and sizes, but
Again, Krista's not an unattractive woman, right?
No, not at all.
She seems level-headed.
He says she looks good with no makeup on. But his problem is she wears makeup. See, we have to look at it. What he's saying is that she's overly attractive. Is that...
Again, but I point out, he was really good to go when he saw her mama.
Yeah, and she was wearing makeup.
She was done up in multiple ways.
Yeah. So, but if you can't be honest of why she's not the one for you, then you have some other issues.
Yeah, because and for Christian, it was like, he's not attracted to me, but he sure is excitable.
So, granted, if you're saying you're attracted to, he's attracted to women, period. But you're attracted enough to engage in intercourse, but you don't have no intimacy. So there's something empty there.
Yes.
That he needs to work on.
Yes.
Because that's the issue.
Yeah. She did say that the conversation he had with her sister was enough for her. That kind of told her everything she needed to know. She is dating. She's the one that moved. She's moved or traveling a lot to New York, I think it was.
Yeah,
there is somebody that just kind of maybe popped up and started.
So she'll see where it's going to go.
She's seeing where it's going.
But she's just enjoying life.
Yeah, he's not dating.
He said that he has to work on himself.
Yes.
Which is agreeable.
And clean his house.
Well, I doubt of that. He said he's back into his old life, is what he said. So, and I think we have to understand we want things in our lives, but when we want things in our life, that means we have to change things in our lives to get what we want. And a lot of time we think that getting the things that we want, we don't have to change. And that's not the case. Right. And he does need to continue what he says that he needs to find out, the reasons why he decided to act a certain way in this marriage.
Mm-hmm. Now, there is a difference between changing for a person and changing for the situation. In other words, I shouldn't have to change my entire personality just to attract somebody.
No.
But if we're moving forward in marriage or a deeper relationship, what have you, there should be some things about me that change because my situation being single is now shifting. So there are some things that change there.
Well, but this is what I'm saying, though.
What are you saying?
I'm saying when you're coming from a single relationship and being an individual, and you're saying, I want companionship that's going to be in a lifetime commitment, there's going to be naturally some changes that you're going to make.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Is that what you said?
That's what I said. I said the situation.
You said the situation, but there's a difference between the situation and the relationship? Because you gave two different versions.
Situation is that I was single, and now the situation is that I'm moving into a deeper relationship. That's the situation.
Right, but you're making them...
As opposed to changing for the person. In other words, I shouldn't change who I am just because you don't like my haircut.
Well, you're saying change so they can be in a relationship with you?
Yes.
Okay.
If that's where you want to put it. But yeah.
Because there's a difference. If I'm in a relationship and I'm changing...
We're saying the same. Listen, this is a great time if you remember. Let us know.
Because it sounds like you're saying... I'm changing so someone wants to be with me, but I'm not talking about someone being with me.
Right, I'm just clarifying that. Right, we're saying the same thing. Neither one of us, both of us agree that you should not change so somebody wants to be with you.
Right.
We are both saying that when you move from one situation or one level to the next.
Or state. A state of being.
Level, state, situation, whatever you want to, level, point of contact, whatever you want to put it. Whenever you move from one place, position, state, level, did I get them all?
I think so. That's all.
To the next, there should be some changes that happen because of the change that's happening there. We good?
I'm good.
All right.
I just want to make sure.
All right, we good. We good. All right. So that's them, pretty much. Did we miss anything from them? No?
No, not at all. I mean... You know, he says he needs to stop talking in circles and just...
In other words, close his mouth.
Well, or just say it from like, no, I'm not interested.
So, we'll see next week if Justin got a black eye. Because Nate did say, I'll catch you outside. He was like, catch me outside. He's like, outside, bro. With all these lights and cameras... Let's go outside.
Let's see.
So
get on your knees.
I'm telling you, if Nate's smart, take them knees out. It's a wrap. All it takes is one good kick to the knee. That tree is down. All right, that's it for this one. We'll see you all next time. Have a great one. Be blessed.
Bye.